Folks, hello and welcome to the random party generator. Watch out, because I've got I could cut you. Um, sorry, it's a bad joke. Um, we are the random party. We do random things. With me, adjacent to me, on that side over there, is none other than Rob Conley, Bat in the Attic. You know him from Black Marsh and many other things. Um, Below Rob is Glenn Halstrom, Old Man Grognard, probably best known as one of the hosts of Thaco's Hammer,
among other things.
among other things.
Me too.
And below me, don't take that out of context, but is the one and only Greg Christopher, Mr. Chubby Funster. If there was a Shadow Dark supplement that you want, he probably actually wrote it.
And he's the rising star of the OSR.
Hello, Death Angel Shadow. Thank you very much for the show this afternoon, by the way. Had a lot of fun.
Glenn's everywhere. I made him the man that he is.
Yeah, well, Becky lets me do 4 this week because I keep saying, I'm doing it on live stream and I'm going to plug my book again. Oh, okay, go ahead.
Well, speaking of your book, how's it doing?
I don't know what the sales are, but it's getting a lot of push.
Yeah, I think I've sold about 10 copies through my Amazon links.
And when I do my live stream myself, I put your link in so you can get credit for it.
There you go. So I think that my ear trumpet is on your channel, Greg.
He is, yes. Thank you very much, buddy. And I see Roger in the chat as well.
Yes.
I was on his show earlier this week.
Oh, Roger's show was a blast.
We talked about all kinds of stuff, but they were really into Skyrim. So we talked about Shadowrim, my Skyrim adaptation for Shadowdark.
And hi, Dave. Always got to say hi to Dave when he shows up. Dave Thompson.
Well,
he's way over in England, so
So how is Shadowrim doing, Greg?
I just got to platinum a couple days ago.
Excellent. Congratulations.
Nice.
Yeah. I think they actually moved the mithril number up to 2,500 from 2,000 because GM Companion has gone over that and it's still showing as platinum.
Well, remember, look at your release date and make sure you're counting sales from that date and not earlier.
I didn't have anything pre-released on that. That was not, that was a long time ago. So I don't think so. It's possible, I guess. Maybe.
Yeah, the link I just put up is for Old Man Grognard's Glenn's book, When the Fat Orc Sings. I pull out my copy, but it's no longer near my desk. So I think it's in the bedroom.
Did you buy one?
I bought a copy.
Thank you.
How could I not buy a copy? Glenn.
Easy, don't buy it.
Flying monkeys. Where are we getting these flying monkeys from? I'm confused.
Flying kobolds. Hey, there you go.
Hadazi, right? That's what they're called.
Thanks for buying, Roger. By the way, thanks for buying, Roger.
There you go. It's again.
I used to be a GM. Now I'm just a shill.
You're both. You can be both.
You can be both. You can shill and GM. Just don't chill while GMing. I mean, that's a little bit of a...
Yeah, that doesn't work out well.
Yeah, it never did. No.
Yeah, it's a little conflict. Buy my shit or your character dies.
No, I wouldn't do that.
No. Greg did think about it for a second, though. I saw that look in his face.
I was just thinking about I managed to survive Glenn's game at North Texas, and I didn't have to buy anything.
You're the guy who gave me that book, weren't you?
Yeah.
You gave me that book, and I ended up buying a copy of Shadowdark because he gave me that book.
All right.
Well, Shadowdark is a fine system, and there've been arguments in my videos about whether or not Shadowdark is worthy. I think the popularity can speak for itself. It's certainly worthy. It wouldn't stand up to the play if it wasn't a solid system. Is it a solid system
Right.
because it's based on 5e to a large extent? Kelsey showed that you could strip down 5e and it doesn't break if you strip it down the right way. I don't know if others could do as well, although Glenn, who's the one? Miss Garther.
Oh, Matt Evans.
He stripped down D&D 2014.
Yeah, he stripped it down to a really nice system.
You know,
Didn't we both say that if we had to run 5th edition, we'd use that?
Yeah, if you had me at gunpoint and said
weapons are involved.
Yeah, if you must, or you will. All right, yeah, okay, I'll run with Garther. It's actually it feels old school ish.
Well, let me add a data point to your analysis here, Tenkar. So I have had conversations with Rob Alderman about Gods of the Forbidden North.
Oh, cool.
So he just finished volume 3 and sent it to layout. So it should be for backers in a month or two. But he said his plan for 2026 is to start converting it to other systems. And his plan for over a year had been to do 5th edition first for for the better sales values. But he said he's had so many people ask him about Shadow Dark and very few people ask him about 5e that he is leaning towards doing Shadow Dark conversions first and then converting to 5e. That would be, from a cost, sales, price, whatever perspective you want to say. Like, I mean, if it's more profitable to do that, that is a big endorsement. So we'll see what he ends up deciding on. But
I think the Shadow Dark players are more passionate. I think the 5e players. But by the way, also 5e. There's a what was that word? A plethora. There is a plethora of shite. I shouldn't call it shite, but there's a plethora of pure shit available for 5e, good, bad, and indifferent.
Right.
And Shadow Dark has a much smaller selection to go through with a very passionate base of players and GMs. And you have Greg's material, which the numbers alone show you that it's a profitable business to be a part of if you can produce quality material. All right? I mean, if you're just going to throw out...
There's a gold rush effect where you're going to get a lot of product quality issues.
Yeah.
Just because there's a ton of people publishing and low customer knowledge.
Well, I hopefully, if all works out, I'll be able to, in 2026, have a short and sweet Shadow Dark product. So for those of you with my points of light, I mean, I set there are like 3. There's one extraplanar setting in there, and there are 3 regular, in the world setting, but they're set in different time period. And I was thinking that Wildland, which is set after the fall of the Bright Empire, my world version of Rome, would be an ideal setting for a Shadow Dark setting.
Right.
So
I bet you will beat Joe the Lawyer to market.
You know what? I'm not taking that bet because that's a loser's bet.
He keeps telling us he's going to do what is like, it's going to be a certain amount. And then he said 1 to 2 years now, and then it's going to be who knows?
I think when Joe is ready to retire, it'll be ready. And since that's a moving date, the date's in flux. The date's in flux. Listen. I'm just happy for Joe that his channel is getting the good traction. I hear we were talking about topics. Have the rest of you been catching the D&D tube is dying videos that have been flashing around?
That was some bullshit right there.
Everywhere.
I speak to.
You can say whatever you want.
Oh
You
no,
just,
it
you just
is
can't. There's
brutal
one word
BS.
you can't say. But the
I
most
mean,
Hey,
the,
we're still here.
yeah, there's. It may be very hard to get above a certain number of subscribers and still maintain your focus on a particular thing. Let's say that way. So once you get up above us, like I had a couple weeks here. Well, I was really busy with some day job stuff and real life stuff, and so I haven't released as many videos. So there's been lower activity on the YouTube channel.
right.
That doesn't mean YouTube is dying. I just made a decision, right? If I produce videos that aren't popular with people, they get fewer views, right? This is not so. If somebody's saying, "Well, I'm producing these videos and they're getting fewer views," then the conclusion is those videos are not as popular. It's not that the medium is broken just because you're getting fewer views. You may be unhappy that the market doesn't support
Right.
whatever. I mean that's how many people have taken some heartbreaker to market and it has not performed well. That doesn't mean the market is broken.
No,
Yeah.
and here's the thing too. I mean, if you're our size, okay, you're only going up. All right, I can see that today with this channel. This channel, I think we've got, I don't know, 60 subscribers today alone. This month, we're looking at probably last 30 days about 850 new subs. So this channel is growing. But I would be thrilled if I can make my monthly car payment with between this and my drive-through and my Amazon. I would be thrilled. But there are D&D YouTubers, D&D YouTube, that make their mortgage payments, that pay themselves a full-time salary. And when you're at that level, any retraction in your traffic, any retraction in what your reach is, impacts your bottom line. For me, this is all gravy. Okay? I don't need it to survive. I don't need it to live. But again, I'd be happy if I could make my car payments. That'd be thrilling. But I can feel for those that go, oh my God, I'm making my mortgage payments and now maybe I won't be, because I'm sure your life has grown accustomed to your online activities making that payment. And then maybe you're going to have to rejuggle your books. But nothing is guaranteed in this world. Okay. And yes, um, what's popular in 2024 may not be popular in 2026, and there will be pivoting. But when again, if you're myself or Greg, Rob's going to have a channel at some point. Trust us, Glenn. There's only you can only go up. If you're somebody that has a channel and you're watching us, you're probably in our general range, couple thousand, maybe 10,000. You can only grow.
Yeah.
I don't think you should look at the fact this is like Watsi complaining that they're losing market share. Okay, you should be looking at it in that perspective and not going, "Oh my God, the market's crashing." It's, oh, there's opportunities for those that are willing to put in the work and put out the material.
Yeah.
It's no different whether you're creating YouTube videos or you're creating gaming content. You could be Greg. You could be doing both. All right. Imagine the insanity of that. But there's a synergy of that too.
Yep. And people have been talking in the chat about that YouTube has banned a bunch of stuff. They did roll out a new AI moderation tool, and I think I've established through my many wonderful conversations with Rob about my opposition to AI and it being a bad way of making decisions. That doesn't mean that having a certain video should get more or less via. It's a moderation tool.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think that the algorithm is not out there going, oh, this guy has a lot of views, so I'm going to give him less views. That's not how YouTube works, period.
No.
Like YouTube wants more people to watch your stuff.
Well, I would just say for the record, Greg, if anybody who's using AI to make decisions is a fool, is a tool. It's like saying anybody using Excel to make a decision is also a fool. It's just a tool, not magic.
Right.
Right. But and here's the thing, and I saw Theatus was saying like YouTube is pushing shorts. I go, I'm gonna let you in. It's not a secret, but I'm actually in a YouTube training program or mentorship run by YouTube. I got invited. I'm not stupid. I said yes. And what are the things that YouTube pushes? They push two things right now, and shorts is certainly one of them. The other one that they push is memberships. Okay. And I've taken seminars online with them, how to improve your click through using better thumbnails on regular long form videos. So the ones that are really upset are the channels that are much bigger than us because again, I'm still seeing growth. I'm seeing growth both in the monies that this channel is earning and the traffic and the subscribers. But I'm an OSR channel. There is going to be a ceiling I hit that is much lower than a 5e ceiling. And the 5e ceiling now is lower than it was.
Or whatever current version is.
Oh, yeah, whatever, D&D Forever, which won't be forever. It won't be forever. Multiple sources were talking to me about 6e. We'll bring that up in a little bit. But D&D 5e was going to be the forever edition, and is my video cracking up? My audio cracking up for the rest of you guys?
Not
No, you're fine.
You're fine.
Chris has my audio is cracking bad. Sorry,
the YouTube is out to get you. I'm just kidding.
I
It's
will
probably
not.
just connection or something. I don't know.
I don't know. I'll notch my gain down slightly, but is it going to be the next Netflix? I don't think YouTube is ever going to go away because I don't think I like Rumble a lot. I don't think Rumble's going to replace it. I don't think Netflix is going to go away. I think cable might go away.
Yeah.
Honestly, cord cutters are where the future seems to be. And
physical media, yeah.
Oh, excuse me. That is a sparkling ice belch. This is a very, very carbonated batch of sparkling ice.
I don't have anything right now, but I did have some Southern Comfort eggnog.
That's that non-alcoholic bullshit that you were talking about the other day, right?
It's all non-alcoholic BS at the store, in the grocery store. Yeah.
All right, just checking.
But it's really good. It's a lot better than most of them I've tasted.
All right. Listen, I was never an eggnog person. I was never whatever that Puerto Rican eggnog is that my son's mother's family used to always make me drink. Not my cup of tea.
Totally free website called Don. Oh yeah, Don John is a good website. You got all sorts of generators on that place.
Actually, talking about free websites, where is my link? Okay, so Fugly, who is not on and poking around the chat yet.
Wow.
Fugly has done a swords and wizardry light character generator. And if you have a phone, you can actually download it and install it as an app on your phone.
That's nice.
Yes. So
which though, Android or iOS?
You can use it on iOS if you use Safari, and you can just. I guess it's like saving a web page, but it saves it like an app. So I haven't. I've tried it out on the computer. I just haven't tried it out on my phone yet, which I have to.
I guess I could try it on my iPad.
Yeah. Is the rumor about a Gygax influenced new AD&D true? All right, so Luke's name came up from multiple sources. not quite in the same context of what he would be doing, but he came up in the context of the new edition of D&D, or an AD&D revised with 5e. I could be surprised, and it could be a concurrent edition. I doubt it. I think the lessons of TSR running multiple editions of D&D at the same time were harsh ones. But apparently, it is a AD&D 1e or 2e if Luke's involved. I'm going to guess 1e. And remember the photos ops of Luke running AD&D for Hasbro and Watch the Execs out in Seattle. Okay. Um, but it what I was hearing is AD&D 5e because they still want that 5e compatibility. Yes, it sounds like taking a round peg and smash hitting it into somebody's head. But you know, Stranger Things. I had multiple sources that I could trace back to WotC in different divisions. And when it's different divisions, I know it's not coming from the same source.
How long is the time frame on this?
We're talking spring, summer for playtesting, and when I heard playtesting, I'm assuming that means internal playtesting of 2026 and release for 2027, which would be the 50th anniversary of the Munster Manual. AD&D, essentially. So things line up. I suspect that we will. They will. They right now. Luke has not denied it, as far as I know. Although one of his people said he's not involved in it. I, whatever. My sources are pretty good. I wouldn't. I was sitting on my initial source for over a month until I could confirm from additional sources because
Well, I mean,
you
we
don't
both
want.
have experience of being in their playtest.
Yes. Oh my god.
And what they start playtesting is no guarantee of what they're going to end up with at the end.
There
Yeah.
were early versions of the 5e D&D Next playtest that Greg and I were like, "Oh, this is awesome! This is exactly what I want." And it would be followed up next week by, "What the fuck is this shit?"
Yeah. Because and that goes actually that ties right back to what we were saying about the YouTube stuff earlier. Most people have a perception of like this is what the ideal thing would be, and then when that collides with the market, it's hard to maintain the same thing, right?
Right.
So what we want as an ideal D&D, they ran and a bunch of people gave them feedback that wasn't what they wanted.
I don't like this.
And so they changed it. Now that doesn't mean we're wrong or they're wrong necessarily. It means WotC's trying to make money.
Right.
At least they were at that time. Let me put that caveat in. So they adjusted it to meet whatever it is. But when you think about it in an abstract way, there's very little difference between some individual creator who has an idea for this is my great set of house rules for D&D, right? Like Joe the lawyer, we talked about him. He has this idea. He got these things he's going to put together. If Joe was just somebody that worked at WotC that they put in charge of a thing, and then they try to develop that, and then marketing starts coming in, they do play testing, they start changing all this stuff. The difference between Joe and WotC is Joe can maintain control of it as an individual all the way through the process. And the person at WotC who had the cool idea, wasn't it Monty Cook at the beginning of the playtest when we were doing
yeah,
they chucked his ass out of there for whatever?
Monty Cook promised, and I have this on one of my blog posts, go back in the day, that the new edition of D&D, what became 5e, was going to allow you to have your zero edition, your basic, your 1e, your 2e, your 3e, your 4e, and all at the same table using the original character sheets, and you'll all play together and hold hands and sing Kumbaya.
Sure, it will be.
It didn't happen.
Uh,
And when it couldn't happen, Monty left.
But no individual person at WotC, no matter how powerful they are, can make a claim like that. Not even somebody like Chris Cox, because there are forces more powerful than Chris Cox. There are incredible bureaucratic power that can't be resisted, that can force them to do this or that. There's a great memo from Dave Mamet that got saved on spread on the internet about I think the show that he was working on was called The Unit, and he was basically telling his writers how to write stuff that the Penguins, which was his name for the suits from the producing company, that if you do this, the Penguins won't bother you. We need to do this so that the Penguins will leave us alone. We need to,
we need cover.
Yeah, even when you're dealing with $1 million property, you think, oh, this guy's got a lot of power or creative control. No, they don't.
That's not new either. Putting stuff in that's so bad that they're going to overlook the stuff you really want in.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, little sleight of hands.
Did that in the movies all the time.
Sedge, do we think this is going to be an AD&D alike or just a style guide over the current engine? We don't know yet. I don't know yet. And what I'm talking about is what I was able to confirm from multiple sources. There are little rumors that I am not talking about because a single source rumor is a rumor, and I don't want to just throw out random toilet paper to throw at the wall or the ceiling and see if it sticks. That's great if you're cops playing jokes on somebody in a shitter. It's not really good when you're trying to talk about stuff that it's your hobby, right? You're interested in. But AD&D or 2E and 5E, because they don't want, from what I understood, is that they don't want to abandon 5E. There's too much invested in 5E. 5E is the best, biggest, most important D&D system ever. But it's stagnant. Despite what WotC says, everybody I've spoken to, it's not a rumor, just what I've heard, is that the sales for 2024 are stagnant no matter what numbers. WotC doesn't tell you numbers, by the way. They're just saying best selling ever. And they're trying to breathe new life into it. And I suspect,
I think they're doing it the exact wrong way by doing it with a system.
Right. No, I agree.
The problem isn't a system.
It's how it's presented and the packaging thereof. It's a solid system, which we saw with early 2014 D&D, that you could run it in an old school manner, but that's pretty much been wiped off when the two knuckleheads that now are working for Critical Role, they had to rebrand everything so D&D became their IP, and it was no longer Mike Merle's baby. They had to make sure that Mike got erased. Whether you like Mike or not, I mean, he is the reason 2014 was likely as successful as it was before it started morphing into whatever it morphed into. And you're right. Needs more cowbell. There will never be an AD&D edition that satisfies everybody.
That's right.
Yeah.
You find one you like.
I mean, I know you don't want to split things or whatever, but they could have made like a more tactical support, like for 4E, and kept the regular, what was third edition in place and improved that. But they're always looking for a system fix rather than an actual content or improve. If they had said, instead of 2024, what we're going to do is we're going to bring back a whole bunch of classic settings, and we're going to make them we're not going to defang them and make them boring gray goo. We're going to actually produce Dark Sun, Al-Qadim, Planescape, whatever. We're going to put all these things out there, and it's going to be good. And I saw that. I appreciate that, buddy. Yeah, So like if they did that, if they really threw that out there, like, and they were like, we're really committed to this, they probably would have a much better market response than saying, hey, we're going to revise the game with some marginal rule changes
Right.
that you're gonna have to buy new books so that your players will be more powerful and you'll have to deal with power balance corrections. Great. You know, nobody wanted that. But they don't listen to what people want. Ryan Dancy's the last one of them to give a shit about getting feedback from the market about what, wasn't he the one who commissioned that big study that one time about figuring out who was actually buying and playing?
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, Ryan Dancy was, I mean, for all of his sins or whatever, like he actually cared about it as a business. Like let's actually find out what people want and sell that to them.
Right.
Rather than make something and then try to market weasel our way into somebody's purchasing decision. That is just BS. And it's amazing to me that nobody has realized over there that what people complain about on the internet is not related to what people buy and do shit in the real world. And if you make your product so that 20 people on the internet won't complain about it, but you lose 2,000 people who would have bought it if you hadn't made that change, you're not winning. But they're so intimidated by 20 people or however, some small group of people that are
the loud voices.
It's amazing how intimidated they are.
The minority gets the attention.
Well, yeah, it's the squeaky wheel gets the oil. Well, you know what? God. Agile says this contacted Hasbro Legal. I will say that one of my sources came back to that same division, stated the 2024 sales are way off and dismal. You wouldn't be hearing the rumors, and yes, they are rumors until they happen. I'm not saying otherwise. But again, I'm only talking about stuff that I was able to confirm from multiple sources because I can be pretty confident in that. This to me, this is a pivot. It's a new vice president at WotC who's in charge of every aspect of D&D. He was given full reins, full control, and probably told, make some money out of this shit, or else we're gonna put it on the back burner for the next decade.
I've seen for like the last year or so, they've been trying to court the OSR and those old school gamers out there.
But they did the thing is the old management, again, all of them have gone. They thought, how are we going to get back the old gamers? Let's do Planescape. That sounds like fun, and not understand what Planescape is. Let's do Spelljammer.
And got it.
Oh, wait. Blame that slave race on the old school gamers that we were trying to bring back in.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. That was made under us, under WotC? We're the ones that labeled that the Hatfields and McCoys, the Hadsies. Yeah, it's like we did that. Oh shit.
Well, that's because it's all aesthetics to them, Eric. Like that's it. They think that they can, if they just make the right marketing, it'll appeal to somebody to come in and buy it without changing we don't have to change the product. We just need to use the right razzle dazzle, and we'll trick those fuckers into buying our book. That we're past that.
Right.
Nobody's doing that anymore. There's no way it's going to happen. And they keep going, we'll just do a little different razzle dazzle. Just like, Disney put we're going to make Andor and we're going to make Mandalorian and it's going to be great. And then they suck you in, and then after 2 seasons we're going to switch it up so it's back to the same terrible trash. And then you'll never notice.
We noticed
it anymore. It's over. So I don't know why they think they can trick us.
It's like, hey, we're going to make a Spelljammer and not include any magical ships.
And no ship combat.
No ship combat. We don't need that because our players don't want to get into combat. They want to have the on-ship baristas serving coffee.
That's right.
Is what they want because we are no conflict Dungeons and Dragons. We have our beholders wear plaid. You know,
It's ridiculous. Yeah, but that's what I say. It's they think that it's all just illusion magic that they can. If we just cast this illusion magic, we'll be able to trick them.
Yeah.
If they actually focused on improving the outcome, the actual product, the actual experience, hey, we're going to innovate in this, we're going to innovate in that. But the reason why people hold second edition in such high esteem is not because of its fantastic mechanical basis or any bullshit like that.
No.
It's because they innovated, they gave a shit, they tried new things. They were like, we're gonna treat this stuff as serious. What if you did a world like this?
Right.
We're gonna roll 100% on it. Yeah.
And with guys like me, it was backward compatible with first edition, so you could combine them.
It was easy enough, and
twice as much stuff you can get modules and whatever.
I mean, Dark Sun, Birthright. I mean, I'm taking the extremes of second edition settings, but obviously, Dark Sun. They're never going to do a Dark Sun, and if they did a Dark Sun again, it would be so vanilla.
Yeah.
I
mean, look what they did with Curse of Strahd. They had to bring it out again to correct all the stuff and make it more vanilla.
It wasn't vanilla the last time when we took out the gypsies because that's not politically correct. Let's take out the Romanov. Let's just. We can't. Does Strahd have to be a vampire? It gives vampires bad names. Can we just make him a not so nice person with like a blood fetish?
Yeah.
Maybe we can do that.
Think about it. Let's put it like this as this exercise. What would it take? How implausible is it to you for WotC to make a product for 2024 D&D that is so good that you buy it to use with another system
or an earlier system?
Yeah, an earlier system that you're gonna run this on 2014 5e, third edition, or something like that, like fourth edition, whatever. You're buying it because the actual content is so good. Even though you don't like the mechanics, you're gonna buy it to use it with an older system. To run with Shadow Dark or OSE or something.
Right.
How fucking good would it have to be? Can you imagine them doing that ever?
No.
They sell the company to a new brand holder before they did that.
Exactly.
No, and it's true. I mean, they have done WotC as a company. No new settings with 5. And when I say no new settings, I'm not counting Strixhaven. All right, go pound sand. Okay. All right.
I've had people ask me to do an analysis video on it. I'm like, I can't even.
It's like I have to slit my wrist first and let them bleed out, and then maybe I consider it. But they haven't done a new setting, a real full setting, since Eberron.
That's right. Yeah.
You're right.
And they didn't even do Eberron themselves. It was a contest.
Well, yeah, but that's how they got Forgotten Realms.
Forgotten Realms is not a contest. No, they bought it. They bought it lock, stock, and barrel. But no, right. They ran a contest.
Oh, I remember. Yeah.
Okay, so think about that. In-house, they have not created a setting since 2E.
3E. Eberron's 3.
Eberron wasn't even created in-house, though. It was a contest.
You're right.
It wasn't even done by Rich Baker. Just won the contest. God bless him.
You're right.
So 2E. That's how bereft. That is how empty of creative talent. And I'm not talking about They can't think up decent rules. They can't think up a decent setting. What do they reintroduce with D&D 2024? Greyhawk. And even that, they got to say, oh, well, we can't have barbarians because that's offensive. Let's scrape this part off. Let's scrape that part off. So, yes.
Then I go run the slavers modules.
What's crazy to me is that they have ideas like they'll talk about barbarians as if that is an entity, a thing, when in reality there are so many types of barbarians. It's freaking nuts. There's, Celtic barbarians in Britain during the Roman period. There's Vandals and Burgundians and Goths and stuff that came in. All these Central Asian cultures that would be considered barbarians, tribal cultures in Africa, Southeast Asia, on the periphery. All these things would be considered barbarians, and they act like there would be one culture called barbarian. It's insane. Like, the idea you couldn't make culturally diverse barbarians is itself an indication you have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
They just think it's a job description. You know what I'm saying?
Like fisherman.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a barbarian. Yeah.
Yeah. You do it so well. You dress for the part. Thank you so much.
Yeah. It doesn't matter whether you're a Tuareg or a Mongol or a Celt. Your job description is barbarian.
Right.
Yeah.
Almost makes me want to take the charts out of Hyperborea for the different different races of man, and then apply that to their barbarian. Okay, it's an Asian barbarian. Okay, it's a Celtic barbarian. Okay, it's a and a Hyperborean barbarian, and just see the differences in just one subclass.
Yeah. And Thaiatus is right. Berserker is a specific type of Nordic barbarian. They're also Europeans, so it's not like that. It's not like you're oppressing the barbarians from Norway or some crazy. What the fuck? I don't understand how this even works.
They're called Vikings, yes.
Yeah.
Well, I think that ever since Conan became Conan the Barbarian, I believe that a certain percentage of the population says, "Oh, that's a barbarian," and that's the only barbarian. So there we go.
Yeah.
It's also Conan the Cimmerian, but I mean nobody remembers that part.
Yeah.
So Mongol. Actually, Agile. I was thinking the same thing. The Mongolian barbarians, but what is the actual definition of barbarian?
People who don't live in cities.
That's
the Roman definition of the term. So anybody who doesn't live in cities. So all the Celts, all the people in northern and western Iberia, people in what would now be Eastern Europe, Dacians or Romanian region, the Thracians, the caverns of Thracia. The Thracians were barbarians to the Romans, who then took over and civilized them. Civilization is being civic, being in a city. That's the basis of the word from a language, from a semantic sense. So being a barbarian just means you could be living on the steppe, you could be living in the Faroe Islands off the northern coast of Britain. You could be anywhere where you're not living in cities. Joe, I'm angry. I'm not hangry. I'm not hangry. I'm just tired of this fucking shit, man. That's all. Yeah.
Good point.
I'm missing our Rob AI.
Rob must be fighting the AI hard. I don't know.
It's 2 falls out of 3, really.
Let's see, John. I thought Eric was talking about the frost, ice, and snow barbarian nations of the world of Greyhawk being renamed with their proper, hold on, with their proper ethonyms, Krusky, Schnei, and what have you.
But that goes to another thing I say all the time, that
Hey,
we've gone from people who actually know something about a culture being revealed, like used to be, like think Victorian Britain time frame. The person who was the ethnographer, the person who really cared about cultures and stuff, was basically what we would call like an archaeologist today. Like they were anthropologists. They're going out there. The people who were going out to the village and living with people and writing down what they were doing and then coming back, like those people, whatever you might think about them from an imperial standpoint, they actually wanted to know shit. That they wanted to find things out. Now people want to make comments with no information basis at all. Like they don't. They say, they'll see an orc in Mongol attire and go, look at how that orc is representing Native Americans, because they don't know what Native Americans were wearing versus what Mongols were wearing. That is how ignorant they are. They don't know anything. I know we're getting crowdsourced answers in the chat about Greek barbarian.
Yes, I know.
What is the current topic? Sorry, I missed it.
How Watchy sucks. No.
me.
How Harnworld is great. John Miller just said,
Of course,
Harnworld with
Harnworld's
realistic barbarians. You can roll right in with that.
Well,
Come on, Rob.
Harn has realistic everything. I mean, I'm surprised.
Reach around, immediate reach around.
How to dig a privy for your
Well,
Harn
you
world.
just don't get one. I mean, you got the Dam, the Noah, General Barbarian. Yeah, here I can just read off this list. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 different cultures
Wow.
in Harn. They got the Dam, the Anoa, the Bujak, the Shawnai, the Kaimak, the Kwani, the Godoza, the Harduri, the Kamaki, the Kabalokai, the Kath, the Kabura, the Pagalan. Now those are assholes.
See, that's just too much
The
diversity.
Talari, they're picked on. The Talada, the Tolwyn, the Urdu, and the Yamodi.
Rob, the fact that you could reach behind you and grab the exact
The
page.
exact book. Yeah.
Who needs Rob AI? We have the real thing.
That's right.
You betcha.
And I'm sure the Wilderlands has plenty of barbarians anyway.
No excess. Harnmaster is not Chartmaster Junior. It does have charts. I mean, if you go and nope.
The little thing is spinning on the AI right now.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, there are two crucial charts that it uses. But that's the only charts that you actually have to have in front of you during play. Whoops. Yeah. So this is the attack matrix, and this is actually more reference. This one is the one you actually use all the time, the attack matrix. And they did a good job. N. Robin Cosby did a good job laying it all out. It plays quite fast. So, but I mean, it's obviously not as simple as Swords and Wizardry or BX D&D. But it's not. It's no GURPS or D&D 4E where combat dominates a 4-hour session.
Right.
Yeah. You don't have to have any particular system basis to accurately represent what a medieval society would be in its many facets. That there would be some urbanization, there would be a huge amount of undeveloped land. Not everybody lives like Braveheart, but it doesn't mean it's needs to be changed. They just aren't interested in that.
Well, they did make it diverse. So if you want to do the Braveheart maneuver, there's a section in northern Harn where Vikings came over and No, you're not fighting against the English. You're fighting against Vikings. But yes, there was a native culture called there was a culture called the Yaren. They weren't barbarian. They had castles and settlements, but the Vikings came and took it over. There's still some free Yaren in the interior, and but yeah.
I
So
was just
Harn
before
does
you
a lot
got
of
back,
prophecy.
Rob. We were talking about how 5e will just or I guess WotC in general, they will not innovate on the setting front. They will not bring forward any ideas, and unless they're just absolutely horrible. Like Eric, Strixhaven may actually be a valid answer to your question of what in-house settings did they develop, because kind of technically it is a setting that they've developed, right? Like,
Yeah, it's a magic school
yeah, it
setting.
just sucks. That's yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say it sucked. It's just not as wide. It's not wide range. It's proven not to be as wide ranging and of an interest that they thought it would be.
That's
Oh,
another
come
word for
on.
sucks, Rob.
You mean
I turned 60 this year, and I mean, I'll put my stuff out it. I say how I use it, why I use it, and thank God a lot of people think it's useful and fun to play, which is great. And obviously, they put their money where their mouth is with my Kickstarter. But I also know that for every one of me, there's another person who likes something totally different, whether it's the weird horror stuff that Jam Raggy had or the magic school stuff, whoever Strixhaven caters to. But I do know that all of our different entries, whether we're successful with it or not, are only a limited slice of the larger audience there. And to
I
presume
I
if you're
get
the
that, Rob.
brand leader, you got to think broader than that. And that's Withers'
That's what I was
mistake.
about to say. If I gave you $20 million and you couldn't sell more units, then I would conclude that your stuff sucks. But
It would suck for that purpose,
they have an
yeah.
incredible backing. They have an incredible marketing ability. They have a brand. They have all this stuff. If they can't move units, it's because it sucks.
Just
It's
one
not because
second, yeah.
they're publishing to a niche or they're doing this and that. No. It just sucks. It's okay. Some things suck. It's they just
Just
do.
to thank, yeah, Agile Monk, yeah, the Columbia Games crew, Tom Dalgagesh, and uh, his entire crew did a good job keeping Harn alive.
And Chthonic Musings in the chest, right? Yeah. In Gods of the Forbidden North, there's only really two cultures. There's a third one that's kind of occasionally some guys show up in that, but the main two cultures are like a Byzantine culture and an Inuit culture. They're well developed. You can play a whole campaign with just two. It's fine.
Now, I will say, I am a strong proponent to talk about culture. I I don't think. I mean, I appreciate Harn's, even short articles. 4 page is short for them. But I don't. I think for you guys, the OSR audience, even though I will talk about culture, I'm mindful of the fact that I'm not going to go overboard. So I try to keep it to a handful of paragraphs. But if one of the things about my northern marches is that I have a whole chapter on the different cultures that make up the northern marcher, and the reason I do that is because it's part of the information you need to role play people in different regions. I have dwarves, obviously, several different groups of elves, several different groups of dwarves, several different groups of elves, dark elves, two different kinds, gnolls, gnomes, halfling. Then I have a human culture called the Hunmerian, which are a feudal culture, uh, kind of designed to be a little bit generic. I have kobolds. Then I have a barbarian nomadic culture I call the no, Kozak. They're in the north. They're like my world version of Cossacks. Then I have the Kubar, which are a plains, more like a Eurasian steppe tribe. Lizardmen, Orc. I have Ostrobards, which are more of an old school Anglo-Saxon uh, tribe. Ramosian, which are the remnants of the Bright Empire, the Romans. Ruasin, which are a fantasy Russian culture. Sorob, which are like Finnish Ugaric tribes, elk hunters. Nomads of the Ten, which are also Ruasin, but they're the they're like two poles of the same culture. Uh, One is, you could say, good guys, which are the Rosen, and the Nomads of the Ten are the bad guys. They
Mhm.
worship Veles Iron Master. The Turdervo, which are a Celtic culture. Tobards, which are another nomadic culture, and of course Vikings. But all of these, I don't have them just to have them. They all play a role. They all have a reason for being, and they all have an impact on the setting. And when it comes to characters from the culture, the handful of paragraph I provide, I hope will help you guys role play. You know,
What if Rob? What if we take that entire world and we cut a little part off, and we call it like maybe like the Sword Coast, and then we make all of our products within just that narrow niche, and we ignore all the rest of the cool stuff you put into that world? Would that be a good marketing strategy as well?
no, no.
No. Okay.
I mean,
Why?
obviously, people will be able to free to try it because I am making it the entire thing open content, but it's kind of missing the point. I mean, if you're writing a fantasy RPG that's designed to cover the fantasy genre, yeah, you're going to have to write your orcs and stuff generically. But on the other hand, you got to give some what I call an initial contact to even approach playing orc. So you should decide on what version of orc that you have in mind is the most useful to the most campaign.
Yeah.
Then write them up on that. Write 2 or 3
So, in other
paragraphs.
words,
Don't go
exactly
overboard.
the opposite of D&D 2024.
Yes,
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay.
you need to pick a lane that's a starting point.
They did. They apparently said our orcs wear sombreros and go hunting with falcons or
They're,
hawks.
they're a little bit more,
Wow.
not as good as that even.
What? You mean I was actually given like too much credit
You're
to watch?
presenting too
I put
rosy
away
light
my
here, Eric.
2024 stuff, but
Oh, I thought what I was going to say. Actually, I burned it for heat last week, so I no longer have it. Just saying.
no, I don't like 2024. I mean, I bought it because as a matter of principle, I'll buy every edition of D&D. I have D&D 4E sitting over there,
Oh,
but
I'm
but
Sorry to hear that.
well, I still say
You have my
the
condolences.
4E DMG is the second best of all the editions, but too bad they didn't follow their own advice in the DMG. So that's my feeling on that. But yeah, 2024 is basically what I felt reading through it. I didn't get a sense they were writing for the broad audience that was D&D 5e. I thought they were writing Jeremy Crawford and Chris Perkin
Mhm.
personal campaigns. I
Yeah,
mean, it would have fine if
It's
there
a
was their
heartbreaker. Yeah.
it's their
this is my
heartbreaker.
fantasy heartbreaker, where my dwarves bake scones in and as they craft their armor, wearing sandals as the kitty cat walks
Yeah.
through.
I actually have a
Well,
solution for this. It's emerged in the comments on my YouTube videos. So I did a YouTube video analyzing one of the adventures that's in Radiant Citadel, and
okay.
and when I posted the video, some of the guys in my Saturday night group were like, "We could probably take that whole valley with just us and maybe 10 hirelings." So so I said, hey, now that could be a campaign. So you buy the material, you set it up, and then you let your characters come in with actual weapons and power and stuff, and slaughter everyone and take over and rule it as their fiefdom. So that's a solution. Like buy Strixhaven, but then run Invasion of Strixhaven, and you run it with a full rack of guys that are loaded for bear coming in to take it over. You know
See,
that's what you do.
that's it, man. There you go.
Yeah,
And I am not anti cat. Okay, I got a ginger cat around here somewhere. She's
I can
probably
vouch for that.
yeah,
I've seen Eric's cat more than any other cat
And,
since except
yeah,
one I've owned. You know.
yeah. She'll walk by the screen, and you'll see this like orange tail, and then she'll either love me or swat me. A typical woman. The female of the species. You just don't know what they want. Yeah.
That.
Usually with my cat, she wants petting and wants me to be quiet and say nothing. And I'm not going to say that has anything to do with women in general. But apparently, the less you say, the better off you are. At least with my cat.
After this channel gets banned, I'm going to remember you, Eric.
I know. Somebody said, I'm going to make that into a ringtone.
So I had the orc entry up here. It says, the orc traced their creation to Grumash, the powerful god who roamed the wide open spaces of the material plane. Grumash equipped his children with gifts to help them wander the great plain, vast cavern, churning seas, and face the monsters that lurk there.
What is that from, Rob?
That's from the 2024 PHB.
Oh, okay.
And then they give a physical description of orcs. They're on average tall and broad. They have gray skin, ears sharply pointed, blah, blah, blah. And orc use on some worlds are told about their ancestors' great travels and travailed, inspired by those tales. Many of those orcs wander when Grumash calls them to match the heroic deeds of old that proved worthy of his favor. It's like, okay, they wander, and Grumash, who we have no idea what he believes or what he teaches his people other than to wander and do heroic deeds, which can describe 1,000 deities. I mean, what's it? Okay, that doesn't help me. I wonder that.
I want. Well, he's not evil anymore. Remember, so he's confused. He used to be evil. Now he's just misunderstood.
No,
That's
it's
right.
not even that, Eric. It's worse. It's nothing. He is literally nothing. He
All
just
right.
tells his people to wander and do heroic deeds, neither evil or good. It's nothing. That's the problem.
But see, Rob, nobody is going to go on Twitter and complain about that.
They should. What is my orc? My orc is basically gruel.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
Wonderful.
You can't even say it's vanilla because it's actually got no flavor. And that's, yes, that is part of the problem with D&D 2024. And I'll be the first to say, I don't own it because I got better uses for my money, like investing in toilet paper and other wonderful sundries like that.
Boxed wine and cat food.
Buying cat food. My cat just came into the room. She's now like sitting, laying out in the on the heater because she loves the heater. But why would I want to play a game where a fantasy game, right, where you're supposed to be heroes, and if you're a hero, you are going to be a hero because you are fighting the forces of
Evil.
Good. Sorry.
Sorry. No, evil. You fight the forces of evil. And when it comes to forces of evil in fiction, they are generally stereotypical, right? They are orcs, they are goblins, they are these mythical creatures. But 2024 was like, we can't do that. Everything's no, the orcs can't be evil. They got to be misunderstood. They're free roaming Mexican hawkers because otherwise.
Oh, we don't even know that. Oh, we have an illustration that shows
We
one
do.
of them in sombrero.
Which makes no sense. Yeah, it's like
we go by the text. All we know is they wander and maybe do the occasional heroic deed. That's all we know.
So I mean,
go on.
It's so lacking in flavor. And you look at all the historical fiction, all right, and it's why were the original alignments law and chaos in original D&D?
Well, I can answer that. It's because Dave made a campaign called Blackmore, and he said, "Okay, who wants to be the good guys? Okay, you're law. Who wants to be the bad guys? Okay, you guys are chaos.
Chaos,
now,
and
to me when you have a battle to fight."
Well, but here's the thing: it made the lines very strict and very obvious to people. Just like when you read, listen, if you read the Eternal Champion series of books, it was a battle of law versus chaos. Although there's a lot of gray in that series. But I mean, it's a trope of fiction. You look at Tolkien. You knew what was good, the good races. You knew what were the bad races. But D&D 24 is like, no. See, if people want to be orcs, maybe they just want to be orcs, and they don't have to be bad. They can be good. And drow elves, no, don't worry about it. And they come in multiple colors now too. Don't worry about it. You know, I mean,
Right.
fiction actually probably like fantasy fiction works off of tropes, and with 2024, they got rid of the tropes.
Yeah, and
So
they don't have any forces pushing on them to make them evolve because they are so used to having a monopoly on things. And then when somebody said in the chat, I think it was Mystic Mountain a few minutes ago, like the OSR and people out there, independents, are pushing innovation because they have to. If I want to sell books, I
Yep.
have to be innovative. I can't publish what WotC publishes. I would fail. So we're out here innovating and making games, and they're just sitting on their laurels doing very little. They're not learning. They're not expanding anything. So over time, even though we're much smaller market share, like we're gaining on them in terms of product quality until eventually they go, oh crap, we're outclassed. Now, the solution typically in business is to buy those people out. But if we live in a society now where if I'm publishing for myself and I have absolute vertical integration of production, why would I sell it to them unless they offer me, I'm not gonna sell things and then have to like write products for them to help ease a transition or some shit. Nobody's gonna want to do that. So there's nobody that they can
Ed
easily
Greenwood
buy in
sold
that way.
Forgotten Realms for $5,000.
Yep.
Yep. But that was back before we had this. If what was his name? Greenwood owning Forgotten Realms, if he knew that he could just be publishing it on drive-through and Amazon and bringing in a big amount of money, he would just keep doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. The thing is, they can't think about how much money they would have to offer to buy out a lot of these OSR properties. Like you think Gavin Norman's going to just sell it to, like, he can just keep doing what he wants. Like, there's no reason for him. This isn't like speculative investment in Silicon Valley or some crap. I mean, like, he owns the business. It's coming in. Like, why would he make any change?
You're right.
I have no they would have to offer me an insane amount of money just because I hate them.
Well, they would never, if they came and they say, we want Black Marsh or the Majestic Fantasy Realm, said, sure, I will give you a license so that you can produce it without having to share any content or anything, but you're just going to be one of many. So
Yeah.
here, pay me 10 grand and you can make your version of Black Marsh your own. But however, my original version is going to remain there, and plus anybody else's version that they make off of that's going to remain there. So have fun.
Right.
You're going to have to compete in the same marketplace of ideas as everybody else who wants to use my IP, and I'm not going to give you a monopoly on that.
But even then, like what you're saying is the best case scenario is that they're buying rights or something to existing work. Mm-hmm. What would they have to pay you to work for them to make new product? Like, would you like? I mean, think about it. Like that, they can't buy people. Like all the people who are really creative can make enough money doing their own thing. They don't need to go beg for some crap job at WotC.
If I understand the rate they pay freelancer, there's no way they can top my kick what I make off of a single Kickstarter.
That's what I'm saying.
Hell, they couldn't
They can't buy us out.
The second Kickstarter I had, was nice, and I don't see any of them matching even the second Kickstarter. And maybe they could match the first one, which were my Majestic Fantasy rules, which I make 5K on. And I mean, they can't. I make 25 cents per copy on Points of Light every time Goodman Game sell it, and I thought that was I took that deal because I kept the rights to Points of Light, not to the title Point of Light, but to the actual text and maps
Right.
I drew, and but he offered me a couple $100 to turn up over the whole thing to him, which was fair for the time, but today I would not recommend anybody doing that. It
Yeah.
just
Well, the market changes, right?
It does.
And the market now has actually changed more into the favor of small third-party publishers, and goes back in a way to what we were saying at the beginning of this stream with the D&D YouTubers or the D&D tubers. Um, the smaller channels, we have more options. We can take the chances. We can do live streams, which so many channels are afraid to do, because live streams, somebody could drop a bad word and you could get demonetized, get a strike, and I had nothing to do with it. It was my guest who got me the strike. Whatever. We can take those chances, but the big channels can't.
No,
yeah. So I would say there's two things you have to absolutely do if you want to be successful. First, customer service, customer service, customer service. Do
Yeah.
not, under any circumstances, be the asshole in any scenario involving your crowd, even if they're rude as shit. That you just suck it up and say thank you for your input. I'll take it under advisement and just leave it at that.
Thank
Okay.
you, sir. Can I have another?
Yes.
pretty much.
Customer service, and people remember good customer service. And second,
You remember Ben.
keep
Yeah.
keep keep your ears out. Not every feedback is you're going to get is going to be on point, but
Mhm.
more often than not, there's a kernel of truth, even in the negative one, even the assholes who are giving feedback. So you're never always going to be 100% right. And if you do those well, even if your first effort is not up to snuff creatively, being willing to listen will allow you to improve your work so your next project is the one that's going to hit the mark. And good customer service means your existing customer will stick with you for the long haul.
Keep moving forward.
So
Yep.
I think you're missing a third element here, and I got this from a Saturday Night Live episode.
Okay.
Oh, jeez.
One, be attractive. Two, don't be unattractive. So you have to actually have something that people want, right? You have to have something good. It doesn't matter if you provide great customer service if you're selling pink slime for food. Nobody wants it, right?
Well,
So
that's
yeah,
my first
you're
point
assuming
about
that the thing is good. And that's
D&D is soy and green.
there's a whole bunch of things that it is, man.
And just
Things that are. If you want to see it, just watch Mike Rowe's Dirty Jobs. You'll see a lot of analogies.
well,
in there.
I'm going to push back on a little about that.
I'm
Okay,
surprised.
so first, I'm going to assume that whatever product somebody's interested in sharing their stuff, they have actually ate their own dog food, that they actually ran a campaign, that it isn't some just bright idea.
That's
They
that's
write
a
it up.
big assumption,
That's
Rob.
a huge leap.
That's a
That's a
huge
huge
assumption, and the amount of shovel crap that's hitting drive-through, and there's a lot of good stuff on drive-through. Don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of shovel shit which comes up and pops up in my deal of the day, and I'm like, how the hell is this a deal of the day? Um, and I'm not claiming that any of it's written by AI, Rob, or otherwise, but it is something that would never. Back in the 80s, when I went down to the Complete Strategist, and you had stuff that were printed at somebody's, like, I don't know, college printer, when they stole paper and a printer chance and stapled it together, it was being sold at I still have games that I bought like that back in the day, and I still scratch my head and go, why did I buy this? Well, drive through has that times 100. So when you go to drive through, it literally is looking for that golden needle in a pile of shit. It's not hay. It's not a
Well,
haystack. It's a pile of
I'm
shit.
not quite finished. Okay, so if you don't eat your own dog food, then yeah, why the hell are you putting it out?
They're gonna
But
do it anyway, Rob. That's the whole thing.
I know I'm
Okay.
telling you, I'm giving advice for success, not
Okay.
trying to describe what is. Okay, so assume you've if you actually played it and you had players enjoy it. Well, the amount of people you need to support your creative effort to make it feel worthwhile is surprisingly low. You just need a couple, in the low hundred, maybe even 100 sales is enough to feel that the extra time that you polished it to make it releasable and usable is worth it. That could easily, for a $5 profit on each product, that could be $500, and that's not chump change. Not to live on, but it's not chump change. But the thing is, if you're willing to listen and improve your product, that will all, even if you're, like I said, even if your first one isn't hit the mark. But a lot of niches can be served because we don't need much to support any one particular project. That's my point, Greg.
That is definitely true.
Okay.
So as long as you put your best effort to make it as usable as possible, you used it yourself, you know it works, and you're friendly, you'll find an audience. Small, if you're really, really narrow in your interest, but there will be an audience.
Well, and to actually build off what Rob just said too, is have realistic expectations of what your sales are going to be. See, what is highly successful for Greg would be a failure for Watsy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They would be like, "Oh my god!" Even if they didn't lose money on it, even if somebody gave them the IP for free, it would be a failure because it wouldn't move the needle enough, and they need that needle to get moved. Almost like somebody looking for the next fix because they gotta keep their stockholders
Happy.
happy. Okay, so the reason why Rob can, uh, work on a passion project, Greg can go, hey, maybe somebody wants to see Dark Sun with the serial numbers ripped off. They can afford to take those risks because there's only up. There's only a positive for them. Whereas with Watsy, there's so much stuff where they're looking at it and they're going, oh, is it going to make us $1 million? Because we're $1 billion IP. If it's not making us at least $1 million, we're losing. And if we're not moving the needle, we're losing. See, it's a different way of looking at it. Again, the Dungeon the YouTube channels for the D&D channels that are all covering 5e and they're all shrinking, and you're looking at us and we're all growing. Well, it's different because we have different goals too. I know that if I hit 20,000 subscribers, I'm probably knocking on my ceiling in the OSR, and I'll be happy with that.
Well, there's a really great story that came out when Michael Jackson died. There was some guy who was on one of the production crews for one of his last concerts, and he described that they were like, it was days before the concert. They were like setting up lights, they were configuring things in the stadium, whatever. And Michael Jackson was on the stage, and he was trying to create a new sound and having a conversation with his manager about like that he wanted to create a new innovation. Like he was still at that late in his creative career, he was still trying to innovate.
Yeah.
Right? Very few people get to be, God, what would he have been? 55, 50, 60? Like still interested in making creative changes and stuff like that. What happens is people get in, I don't want to use Linkin Park because they died, but like Metallica is a great example too. Like creating album after album after album of music that eventually you can just hear a few things and you can recognize the same sound of the band, even in a brand new song. You can say, oh, that's still Metallica, right? That kind of thing happens. So if you're getting to the point where your YouTube channel, a lot of these, I don't watch enough videos to even know what it is that they're producing over and over again. But if you're producing the same thing over and over again, eventually that is going to tap out saturation and you're going to start losing people. That's just the way it is. Be hungry for that new sound. Come out with all the stuff that Michael Jackson did in the 80s, and then come out with Black or White and totally changed your come with all these different innovations in your career. Don't just produce the same music for 50 years.
Right.
That's the same thing here. Like, how many people are out there producing the exact same music that they were making 50 years ago? That's the problem.
But you know what? The thing is, Watsy looked at that going, well, we know Planescape was successful. Let's just reissue it listen, if you listen to the experts on YouTube, they're going to tell you, well, whatever topic you want to talk about, go find another video on that topic that was very successful and then just reinvent that video. No.
People already saw that video.
You're already behind the trend. You want to be the trendsetter. You want to be the one that breaks out, not be the one that follows. And sadly, Watsy is the one that's trying to follow itself. And they can't even do that well. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Because they don't know what they want to do. Like, if I tell you, hey, I'm going to pay you this much money for you to write me a module, Eric, and I want you to make me this module to be about forest gnomes and their struggle against Matt Jackson's invasion.
Oh, okay? Awesome. We got a Matt Jackson reference.
You go write that, right? And I say, okay, that's good. All right. Then I take your product and I hand it to Rob and I say, okay, Rob, write me a different thing about forest gnomes. And then I give it to Glenn and I say, Glenn, write me a different thing about forest gnomes. Now we'll have 3 products. But if I take yours and I just feed it into an AI and say, keep making more of these modules, it will just keep churning out that same shit. Like, that's what I'm saying. That's why they think that AI will work for them. That's why they want to do these things, because they don't see that going from you to Rob to Glenn is going to get totally different output. That's going to be creatively different. They're going to push these boundaries. They just want to recreate your original forest gnomes and the struggle against Matt Jackson over and over and over and over again.
Right. It was successful before. It'll be successful again.
Yeah.
It blows my mind because, like, if you look at, say, Basic Fantasy, they have 2 or 3 supplements where they go in the forums and they put, okay, here's a temple, a map. I need 8 people to write an adventure around that temple. And they get 8 different takes and they publish it. 1 map, 8 different takes. That's the kind of thing they should be doing.
So I have a question about Watsy, and I don't know if we really talked about. We always think, Hasbro, Watsy, $1 billion can make print runs in the tens of thousands, but have we ever really considered how big their staff really is? Even when you count the freelancer, how many people are actually working on D&D from the creative side?
It's hard to tell.
Many.
I think that's a great question. I would love to know the answer to, Rob.
Yeah, it's not many because most of their staff is on the side of Magic the Gathering.
So what would you guess at the high end? Wild ass guess.
12.
Yeah.
12?
Yeah. I was going to say 15 or 20.
I was going to do that range of 10 to 15, but 12 is...
We're not talking layout. We're talking people doing it.
But now, the thing is, when they start ramping up for a new edition, I expect those numbers to increase. But again, we're only talking about who's working on a pen and paper version of the game. We're not talking about who's working on the newest computer game for them. We're not talking about who's working on D&D Beyond. And we're not talking management.
Okay, so when they're ramping up, let's say 36, so 3 dozen.
Yeah, problem could be.
Creative,
Yeah.
3 dozen creatives writing stuff.
But they're not writing adventures, apparently, because they're not very good at that.
Okay, so we in the OSR, I think we can name 36 people, creatives,
Oh,
working on projects in the
Easily.
OSR. I think if we really dig into it, we can come up with 100 individuals who produce material that's worthy of play, that we would consider eminently worthy of play, over to, stuff. How can somebody like Wizard or Pazio or any of the larger company compete with our collective effort?
well, Paizo is a little bit different because Paizo stacks their employees in like company housing, like uh, uh, like companies did 150 years ago at the beginning of the Industrial Revolution.
Yeah.
So
Your old mining company store idea.
yeah. Paizo's got this weird thing going where you should be happy you're working for Paizo, so you'll take minimum wage.
I roll my store, the company store. Yeah.
Yeah. So the thing with WotC is you kind of have an idea of how many people are working in what division. What day is today? The 12th. We've
Oh,
probably got about a week before we start hearing of the 2025
Layoff.
Christmas bonus. I mean, the Christmas layoffs.
yeah.
Here's your bonus check. Goodbye. Don't let the door kick you in the ass because that's generally when our layoffs start happening. And then you have an idea because then the article starts saying, Watchy laid off 4.5% of their staff. And then you go through the names of the people that got downsized, and then you know. But
Yeah,
you
that would
know,
be a good way to infer what it is.
right? And listen, if you want to know, is D&D not making the money it was making? Well, when D&D was making money, it was broken down during those quarterly calls as and D&D did X number of dollars or D&D in digital. But now it's just WotC. They're
Well,
not
I think
breaking it
Rob
down.
actually his question points to something deeper of these people that in the OSR are working continuously.
Hmm.
So you're just to use you as an example, Rob, like from today going straight back, however far you want to go till you started writing for yourself, right?
Hmm.
You've never fired yourself.
No.
So because of that, you have a continuous flow. Every time you have a good idea, whatever, you're on the job. They're continuously expanding and contracting like an accordion based on their production schedule. So the people aren't working on the same things continuously,
Yeah.
where you might be gaining experience continuously. You might have a guy who works for WotC for a while, then goes into something else completely different. And a different person comes in to work for WotC next time, and then they go out to do something. So you're not building up the experience in-house to have somebody where you can go, this guy's been working for us for 10 years. He really knows his stuff. They have a big enough problem with that in our industry as a whole, like maintaining continuity of employment, but especially in WotC's situation where they're firing people religiously, like every year we have to figure out some way to get the number down before we go over the January 1 reporting deadline. Well, that's really what it is it's a reporting deadline for the stockholders. So
Yep.
yeah, so they have to get those numbers down, and they're continuously cutting people off of experience gain, where all those people in the OSR every year continuous employment at whatever they're doing,
And
and they're getting
I
better
know
at it.
this is going to sound heretical to some, but let's face it, next year, 2026 is going to be the 20th year of the OSR. And
Wow.
we're getting to the point where not only we're exceeding the experience and the numbers that the people at WotC has, we're exceeding the numbers and experience that the original founders of our hobby, like Gygax, Bledsaw, and Aronson, not to disrespect what they did, but some of us are approaching not just as long, but 50% more, more time at it, double the time. I mean, when it's said and done in 2020, 30, I mean, if Matt Finch is still going at it, what the hell? I mean, he's going to be he's going to learn far more lessons. Hopefully, he learns the small font lesson by then. But he's going to be learned far more lessons than anybody who ever worked in these traditional companies, and that's something that is going to count for a lot in the upcoming years with the OSR.
True.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow.
Oh, sorry, my neck is getting. I'm getting old.
Well, on the subject of Dark Sun, I did kind of make a decision in the past couple of weeks to recommission the whole Shadow Sun map by breaking it into 4 smaller poster sections. Excuse me, 8, 4,
Okay.
2 rows of 4. So there'd be 8 total sections across the whole map, making some adjustments, and then sending that out for commission. So it wouldn't be in the style that I originally did the Shadow Sun map. It would be in a very nice drawn style because it's a black and white. I can get a really nice illustration done black and white for a reasonable amount for that size. And then
Are you going to get a print run, or are you going to use the 12-inch by 18-inch maps on drive-through?
It's going to be the kind of that dimensions for each of the squares, so to speak, and then move forward in 2026 with a broad rehash of Shadow Sun, rolling out a bunch more monsters and stuff that are in line with Dark Sun base because I can afford the commissioning the art now that I couldn't afford back 3 years ago. Rolling forward in a whole bunch of dimensions like that, because whether WotC republishes Dark Sun or not, it will suck ass if they do.
Yeah.
Basic bottom line. So I'm going to just I'm going to approach the project like I wish I could have back 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And
I recommend, Greg, if you ever go offset print run, you do what Kevin Crawford does, get your project out initially the way you've been doing it, but then have a separate Kickstarter where you're just offering it again, but it's going to be in an offset copy, offset printed copy. So you can just, at least for that first time, you can just focus on the logistics of the offset print, what it takes. Because not just the commissioning of the print, but how you're going to distribute it to everybody.
Yeah.
What are you going to do with all the extra copies as well?
Well, my frustration is I have so many things I could do to choose from. That's one of the curses of you when you're grinding it, you don't have the money to buy a lot of things, so you just say, well, I'm just going to mark those things off as not accomplishable.
Right.
And then that limits the number of things that you can do. As we got into the second half of this year, my potential range of options went out of fucking control. There's so many things I could do. So I went through a period of just kind of paralysis of all these different ideas. Well, what could I do? And I really think that that's going to be the way. The way to do it is to roll that out. If WotC releases their crap version in a year, then that's what they do. But I want to be positioned so that this is weird to say, but the thing that motivates me the most is that I hate looking at stuff that I wrote 3 years ago and going, man, I really need to redo this. You know what I mean? Like I have so many things that I can't even, like, would I release a module for it? And I go, well, I won't do that until I've made all these changes that I want to make to it. So I'm caught in that loop. So I got to break out of that loop. I got to get out of that loop.
Zip Zap Rap has a good question here. Thinking about publishing some OSR stuff in general, what's the cost of commissioning art pieces?
Depends on the size.
Depends on the size. Quarter page. I dropped $10,000 on art from my Kickstarter, and each piece was costing. I was commissioning half page and quarter page, art anywhere between $100 and $250 for each piece. One
Okay.
artist was a little bit cheaper than the other,
And
but
these are mostly how big?
quarter page to a half page. I can show you because I just shared my InDesign if Eric wanted to display it.
Yeah, I was.
Hold on.
Oh, that's nice.
So this is a um,
That's a
this
William
here is
McAusland with the axe, isn't it?
yes, that is it. Okay, so this here is an example of stock art.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so those who are starting out look at stock art like William McAusland, The Forge, and other artists. But here's a piece that I commissioned for this project. This is by Rick Hershey of Publisher's Choice, and he published. He had a free PDF on DriveThru that gives his rate, and I believe this is a $250 one.
Wow.
And this one is a 150 quarter page one from Rick Hershey. Another Rick Hershey. This is actually off the Wikipedia. There's a lady who illustrated all the D&D monsters, and she
It's
gave
public
a
domain. Yeah, I have them all as well.
well. I don't think it's Creative Commons.
Oh, really? Okay.
Uh, give her credit. The BY license, and another Rick Hershey. Now this one is Richard Luschek. He was slightly cheaper, but same deal, same ratio between his was $100 instead of 150 for quarter page. Another Richard Luschek piece.
That's a Rick
Uh,
Hershey stock art org.
yep, yep, it is. This is a Forge piece. They do a lot of landscape, which is why. And also you want to go on Patreon. Uh, you might wind up paying 30 to $50 a month for an artist, but they'll give you tons of art for a lot lower cost. Um, this is a Soro elk hunter, Thule ice wizard. This is a Ramosan legionnaire having his lunch, turkey leg. Richard Luschek does silhouettes, so I commissioned a few of those. And these I did myself. I did my own. I do my own coats of arm. And yes, this is going to be a partially color book. So I'm showing when I show the realm. This is the Richard Luschek uh, piece, and he did. When I divvied up the art, I assigned him all the dwarven art because he did the Asmir art for Harn, which is the dwarven realm. So I figured that would be right up his alley. There's another Rick Hershey piece. Same with this. And I'm using a lot of stock art, a lot of stuff from my own creation. This is a page of heraldry showing you all the different coats of arms for one region of the map. And I'm just going to scroll through another one. Oh, and of course I draw my own maps. And actually, my wife did this one. She does certain types of art very well, so I commissioned a couple pieces off of her.
Commissioned, he says.
Yeah, I paid her for it.
Well, I'm now realizing Matt Evans is right. I undercharged for my artwork.
Yeah, well, I still appreciate the pieces you let me use.
Well, I
really want to give you money next time.
Yeah, because that's gratis because every time I pull out the book, I get a kick out of seeing it in the back there. So that's fine. They're yours.
So this is stock art that I bought. Otherwise, I would not.
Wow.
So it turns out that this one artist, let me.
Dean Spencer.
Dean Spencer, thank you. Dean Spencer also has a wide range of stock art, including full color. And I was looking at his full page color, and it's like, wait a minute, that would work. So I saw that piece. I thought, wow, that would be great for an opening piece for the Great Glacier region.
Uh-huh.
And I looked at his other pieces and quickly go through this, get you guys a little eyeful of the. Then I thought, wow, that would work for the Wild North. So basically, I cleaned him out of all of his full page art for this project. And I think, oh, swamp with the mysterious runes, that's perfect for Black Marsh.
Yeah.
And then he had a really nice city scene that. Oh, I got to figure out what's going on with that. Um, and then for Northport, he had a nice city scene which I reused.
Yeah, I like
So this is the final layout that I'm working on. I'm adding touches like these little section headers up here, so when people know where they are in the book,
it's
'cause
looking
gonna
great.
Thank you. So that's what. So I hope that answers your question about art. Start collecting stock art and go from there.
Yeah, there's a lot of good artists that do stock art.
Oh yeah,
James Shields is one that I know personally. His collection is very good, and he covers different genres. But I own stock art from a number of sources. At some point, I'll use some of it. Oh man, we did a sandbox and then some tonight.
oh yeah,
We covered it all.
yeah. We covered
Okay.
3 hexes.
All right, maybe not all of it, but we covered a lot.
So Eric, could you post this link? Because a poster asked me what project is this, and I'm still open for late backers, although I'll be probably closing it in a week or two, making an announcement saying you have a week to back this. So I'm still accepting backers.
So
And I have a beta layout out, so it's not like there's nothing available at the moment.
okay. Well, folks, I'm going to throw another link in there for Glenn's book on Amazon.
Oh, thank you.
I threw it up there in the beginning. I'm going to throw it up here at the end.
I'm going to throw the picture up here so you know
Yeah, when the
federal
federal
what you're
sings.
looking for.
I got to say that title is really leaps out at you.
Yeah, we worked on that a little.
It's a great title. All right. Well, anything people want to throw out there before we wrap it up?
I believe Greg has a link.
Yes, he does. This is a link to Chubby Funster. I'm going to repeat something that I think Greg's treatment of what may be influenced by Dark Sun
Maybe.
is in Bad Mike's words, better than the inspiration it came from.
I don't know about that.
He actually said that.
I know. No, I know he did. I just, it's hard to when you admire something like crazy good. It's like
I'm just saying those aren't my words, okay? Because folks are gonna be like, "Oh, Tenkar knows Greg. He's gonna say anything." That's why I'm not using my words. That's why I'm using Bad Mike's words. And Bad Mike doesn't throw that stuff around needlessly. So,
Well, you got three links up there, one for each of us. Why don't you throw up one? You got anything?
I got no links. You're watching this channel. You've already got the link you need.
All right.
Yeah, I really do appreciate everybody who's been
What about
watching.
Continue Light, man? Don't sell yourself short.
Continue Light. You can go find it on the Amazon. You can go find it on the drive-through. If it wasn't for the OGL saga, there would have been a new edition of it, a new spanking new cover and layout and all that stuff. I have a prototype around here somewhere. Maybe I'll auction it off.
Why is the OGL stopping? You got everything you need under the creative.
The OGL took when that OGL fiasco happened, it threw like many people who had projects going on, it threw me for a loop and it took all the wind out of my sails.
Oh.
And then I was just like,
so much, man.
Which is why we don't have Torchlight yet.
Yeah, but don't worry about it. Listen, I'm hearing there might be an announcement later on this month. We'll see. Can't say.
Hearing.
If so, maybe I'll be busy otherwise. In any case, if you're watching on my channel and you're not subscribed to Greg's channel, Chubby Funster on the YouTubes, he's one of those very hot and on fire young kids.
Rising star.
Hey, I'm 58. He's like
Very young kid
40.
to all of us right now.
He's like 40. He's like the youngins. But,
yes, I am 40. Yes.
Yes. You're the youngins. I remember when I was 40. My hair wasn't gray.
I remember when I was 42.
Yeah, well, what's been kicking me in the ass to get more regular output is I turned 60. I was like, shit. Oh, I got to move on. I still got my original list to complete.
Yeah, you see, Greg, you got all this time to catch up on. You got so much so far you can. See, we went early. Well, you're already early retired, effectively. You work like 1 week a month at most, and that's a bad month.
We
Not
don't talk
saying.
about that.
I know. I'm just saying. Just saying. Folks, huge thank yous to Greg. Huge thank yous to Rob, Glenn, the old man Grognard, Agile for supporting this channel as always. Everybody who participated in the chat, all you subscribers, you're all awesome. Thank you so much. Next live stream is tomorrow night, Gamers Health. But Ryan David has a channel on Rumble where I will apparently be making an appearance at 5 o'clock. So I am doing a lot of things, fingers and lots of pies. So thank you. I wouldn't be doing it if you folks weren't watching. Be safe, be well, God bless, roll those dice, roll them well.
Good
I'll
night.
catch you on the
Bye.
road.